Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of A Healthy and Happy You, based on my own guided wellness journal called the One Ray Journal, where each week we are diving into each of the 5 healthy habits included in the daily logbook. Each of the habits includes daily intention, gratitude, nutrition, activity, and hydration. So today we are diving into nutrition. So there are quite a few directions we could go in, as nutrition is such a beast of a topic. But my guided wellness journals are created for beginners. And if you read the intro on page 2 that says hello, let me find it for you. In there, I share that this journal is meant to unravel the crossed wires that are happening of overwhelm and confusion and anxiousness inside of your mind. So these videos carry the exact same intention to make your journaling experience the best it could possibly be, so you can start your day on a positive note, feel inspired, go into your day and healthy habits with a plan, and actually stick to it in a way that you can enjoy and thrive in. Now this video, it's important to note that this video is for the average person who is just looking to clean up their diet a little bit, make better nutritional choices, not somebody who is on a specific diet or plan with a healthcare provider or an expert in the field. This is just for the general person like you and me who wants to eat healthier and feel a little better in their skin, a little more energized, a little more confident. And so with my journals, as you can see, the box is not very big. Let's see where we're at. Boxes are not very big to keep track of the meals that you have. There are like 1 million different ways you can track your food, and there's so many different resources out there, like apps and journals and all kinds of crazy stuff. But with my journals, I focus on not keeping track of numbers. So in none of these videos do I claim to be an expert or claim to give advice. I'm just sharing basically what has worked well for me in prioritizing my health for the last 9+ years. And one of the ways that I have achieved good nutrition through different phases of life, because some months and some seasons I do better than others and I make better choices that make me feel more energized and smarter. One of the big things is that I don't really keep track of numbers. I know in my head, because I work with a professional, how many calories I need to thrive throughout the day for my body to work well, to keep up with my workouts, and to build muscle. And I know loosely the amount of macronutrients that I need each day, which are the fat, protein, and carbohydrate contents in grams that you need per day, per meal, to kind of keep your metabolism running well, in the simplest of words that I could explain. But more than that, I don't write them down every single day. There is a lot of validity in doing so, and there are many professionals who do that, and that's great, and there is so much power in that. But for the average person who is just looking to feel a little bit better in their bodies and their minds, I think the most beneficial way that I have personally found to help is just to make better nutritional choices. So for example, my mom and my cousin and I went to lunch yesterday to a local place in Cleveland called Aladdin's. It's Mediterranean, it's delicious. And honestly, if I counted the calories, that's a high calorie meal to have the lentil soup. It was a big bowl of it. I had the big salad with the falafel balls in it. I had the hummus, the pita. To an average person, that looks like a lot of food, and it's a high caloric amount. But the amount of nutrients that I'm getting from that, from the lentils, from the falafel, from the salad, from the vegetables, from the hummus, like all of the nutrients that I'm getting in that meal is so much more important than the actual number. Our bodies are a formula. And basically, working with a registered dietitian, some personal trainers do this, but really you wanna go to a dietitian. They can figure out through scientific data and evidence what your metabolic rate is and how many calories you need to eat just to function on a regular day-to-day basis. Then they add in your activity level, and then they figure out what the amount is that you need to function the right way. So that's the first thing that I just want to explain. That's how nutrition works. And yes, depending on what you feed your body, it will conform based on that formula that you need personally, because we're all different, so nobody is the same with their numbers. But for me, I pay attention to how I feel after I eat a meal. That's it. I keep it so simple. I pay attention to what kind of food sits well with me and what kind of food doesn't. And I tend to gravitate towards food that sits well and energizes me, that I enjoy to eat, all of those things, while still treating myself. There are two different perspectives I could come at this from, and I agree with both. And one of them is to stick more with the old school advice of eat your fruits and vegetables and your protein and your whole grains, because yes, that is the way to be healthy. The old school advice that no company is profiting off of except for farmers who grow vegetables. And then the other angle is don't confine your diet to healthy food, because a healthy diet includes indulgences. And I agree with that 1,000,000%. I have struggled with nutrition in the past on both ends of the spectrum of being too healthy and then not eating healthy at all. And the happiest place that I've been in is right now, where I include a little bit of both. A lot of healthy food, a little bit of indulgences, because I definitely don't think that it's helpful or healthful to deprive yourself of indulgences, because that's a good life. Going out with your friends, having a couple glasses of wine, having a beer, eating pizza, having a piece of chocolate cake, like those are all important things. And I just want to remind you that my approach to wellness and health is well-rounded, and it can and should include all of those things. However, I tend to gravitate toward, like I said, food that makes me feel good. So for example, Saturday we went out with my boyfriend, his brother, sister-in-law, our niece, and their mom, and we went to a restaurant and I got a veggie burger and french fries. It's kind of like a sports bar pub area, and I don't normally get french fries, but I was just having a craving, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give into this craving, or else it's gonna spiral out of control and get crazy, and then I'm gonna overindulge and it'll be a disaster. So I get this burger and fries, it's so greasy, it tastes so good, and then immediately, like an hour later, I felt nauseous, I had a headache, I was bloated, like my fingertips were swollen, I felt sluggish, brain fog, and I just don't particularly love to feel like that. Once in a while, sure, I'll do it, I'll give into the craving, because I'm human and I don't crave sugar less than anyone else. I don't eat as much of it, so that definitely helps, but I crave sugar and french fries and pizza pretty much the same as an average Joe. Okay, just throwing that out there. So then yesterday when we went out to Aladdin's and we got the Mediterranean food, I felt so good. I was editing my videos, I was getting all the work done, I was setting myself up for a productive week, and just noticing the contrast of how I felt in between both meals. They were both indulgences for me because I love eating out, I love going out to lunch and dinner, but I felt so much better after eating at Aladdin's. Bringing it back to the journal, I suggest, from personal experience, if you are struggling with nutrition, don't change what you're currently eating. Sometimes, don't judge me for this, but sometimes I'll go on like a mac and cheese binge. I just love mac and cheese, and I'll eat it for like 4 or 5 meals in a row. And then I'm like, all right, I don't feel that good, I feel a little sluggish, I don't eat meat, so this is like the only thing I'm consuming, it's not the healthiest for me. So I'll just start to add in a fruit and a vegetable with each meal. And then slowly the contents of the meal start to change. I add in more protein, I get a little more sweet potato in there, a little more regular potato, broccoli, like it becomes healthier the more that it evolves. So a good place to start when you're looking to make healthier choices is to simply add a fruit and a veggie with every single meal. And I know that I say that all the time and I sound like a broken record, but I'm telling you, that is what works for me. Just this morning, I had 2 pieces of sprouted grain toast. I had eggs. I think it was expired egg whites because it kind of tasted fishy and I don't think that's supposed to happen. Spinach and orange slices, and I feel like $1,000,000. I feel so good. I love when I have time to make a full breakfast with all the micronutrients. I can get the spinach in there, the orange. It makes me feel energized. The power of planning your meal in the beginning of the day is so that you can eliminate one more choice that you have to make throughout the day. I don't know about you, but I can only assume that you're like me and you get decision fatigue the longer you go throughout the day, and by the end of the day, you just lay in your bed and you're like, I can't even think anymore. So when you plan in the morning, you eliminate that decision, and more importantly, you eliminate that opportunity to slip to temptation. So for example, when you wake up in the morning, you plan out your meals in your journal, you've got a fresh brain, fresh mind, I don't know. You have got clear thoughts. You can clearly determine, here's what I have in my fridge, or here's what I'm going to get at the grocery store. Here's what I'm gonna put with each meal to make sure I'm getting those micronutrients, which are your vitamins and minerals, your fruits and vegetables. I'm going to make my meal colorful. I'm gonna add the fat, the protein, the carb, kind of make a wholesome meal, which includes those 3 things. And that way, when you go into the office and at lunch, when one of your coworkers asks you to go out to a delicious buffet down the road, you're like, nope, I packed my lunch today, I prepared. Because had you not wrote it down in the morning, had you not prepared, you'd probably fall temptation to going with them because you don't have any other options. So I like to prepare in advance, and it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you go out with your friends, it's all good. Like I said, I'm coming from those 2 different perspectives of prioritize health, but also make sure there's room for indulgences. Nothing wrong with going out to lunch, by the way. I just feel the need to include all of these disclaimers because there's so many different angles you could come at this. So I think that's probably the best place to start, is just to simply write down what you're eating. So for example, in the morning, I write orange slices, toast, 2 pieces of toast, egg whites, spinach. That's pretty much it. You can get fancy and say 8 orange slices and 2 pieces of toast and half a cup of egg whites, or you can just say omelet, toast, oranges. Keep it simple. It's much easier that way. And you're focusing on the quality of food instead of the quantity, which is the numbers, the calories and the macros. Like I said, there still is validity in those, but I think just to keep it simple, it's best to focus on the quality of ingredients that are going into your food. The best way that I found to shop for those things is to stick on the outsides of the store. Sure, I go down the Cheerio aisle because I love Cheerios, and I get my dark chocolate, and I get my frozen meatless food and my frozen veggies. They're all on the inside of the store, but most likely than not, I stick on the outsides because that's where the healthy food is, and that's where I found it's the easiest to not stray to temptation. Also, I am all about healthier substitutions. So if you love chips, I don't believe you should remove chips from your life, because personally, I love chips and I have chips in my cabinet. I just opt for Aldi's brand of blue corn tortilla chips because the ingredients in them are a little more nutrient dense and beneficial for me as opposed to regular. Now, when it comes to something like a snack and you're choosing between a cupcake and an apple and peanut butter, the apple and peanut butter is going to provide you so many more micronutrients such as dietary fiber and omegas and all of the good things that help your body to function well and show up for you and give you the energy to live a life that is happy and healthy and thriving. That's kind of the gray area where I like to have healthy substitutions for traditionally not so much nutrient dense foods. I want to be very careful. I don't like to put food in a box and say it's unhealthy versus healthy, because that can also be not great for the mindset. That can make you crave treat foods more often, cheat foods, because it feels like a dirty word to say. But you can also make like healthy muffins. I make blueberry muffins for my boyfriend and I, and there's all good nutritious ingredients in there. I know Costco has these really good granola bars with dried fruit and flaxseed and coconut. I love them so much. They almost taste like a cookie to me, so I like to eat them as a dessert because it still has that sweetness and that cookie crumbly texture, but it's a little better for me and it'll help me sleep a little better, feel a little more energized. So that's kind of the route that I take. My health goals are to sleep well, to have a lot of energy, to sustain me all day, to be focused and clear-minded and good to talk and communicate without feeling brain fogged or choppy. So sleep well, energy, and just to overall feel good, to have the brain power to think about creative thoughts and projects that I'm working on. And honestly, your brain requires a lot of calories and a lot of fat. So be mindful of that, because those are 2 important things to keep you energized and focused all day. And remember that it's most important to work with a professional. I'm just gonna say it because it's true, but in my experience, the best way that I approach health is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Include what feels good for you. Like, some people are crazy about cream in their coffee. They're like, that's so unhealthy. How could you do that? It would be a cold day in hell before I ever take the cream out of my coffee. Thank you very much. So make adjustments where needed. Figure out what is a non-negotiable in your life. Like for me, it's chocolate cake, pancakes, pizza, occasionally a beer once in a while, and I make room for those things because I love them. But more importantly than that, I prioritize good nutrition, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, because I feel my best when I eat those. I still like to eat out, I still like to treat myself, but I try to make sure there's some nutrients in there because physically and mentally I function the best when I'm eating that food. I hope this helps to simplify nutrition for you. I know this is such surface level basic advice, but if you want more in-depth information, please contact a registered dietitian or a personal trainer or somebody who works in the field and is very knowledgeable and qualified to give you advice. If you have questions about the One Ray Journal, head to my Instagram, which is Maria Fitness, or One Ray Journal. Head to the website to shop journals. They're 3-month daily logbooks to a healthier and happier you, hence the YouTube series. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.